I would lift the chains and put my carabiners underneath the chains. Okay. Whether you guys choose to use locking carabiners in this situation is a total judgment call. Lots of people don't do it. If I'm like working with a group of kids and I think they're going to get up to the anchor and like mess with something, I'm going to make it as difficult as I possibly can. But for you guys, the three of you climbing together, you don't want to die. You're not going to get up there and do that. The rope is going to slide through. Or like at that anchor that I built yesterday at that crack climb towards the end of the day there. That one, the master point is it's still the place where if you were top roping, you put your carabiners in the end after you tied that figure eight on a bight. Or it could be the master point of a multiple pitch anchor where you're not going to really top rope through, but it's the point where it's all pulled together and redundancy is formed at the bottom of it. Okay? So in this case right here, this is the master point. Okay, it's very important with this setup that you don't clip all four strands. If I did clip all four and one of these came undone somehow, that could potentially come all the way off.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard for that knot to fit through
But
there,
weighted,
but it could potentially slide all the way off. So go back into there. So what you want to do in this setup is take three of the strands, it doesn't matter which three, and leave one of them out. And now, it's basically trapped in what's called a shelf or a basket. So if one of these did pop out, it would be trapped. It could only go to here. Okay? So that's the reason why we're only taking three of the four strands. Okay?
Okay.
So we want to set these up opposite and opposed. So when I'm doing that, what I'll do, and hey, you don't actually have to hold that, I can set it right here. And I'll see it a little bit better. So when I'm going to set up opposite and opposed, I'll take two of my steel ovals and put them on so they're exactly the same. Right? So those two, both the gates are facing out towards us, and both of them open that way. Okay? So the idea is that the middle carabiner, if the gate is pointed the same way, if it does flip around, that it opens opposite. So this one needs to sit like that. You with me? So now that gate opens on the upper side, these ones both open on the down.
Right.
So that goes in the middle.
Got it.
And that flips over, and now we have opposite and opposed.
Awesome.
Okay, so many people will use just two aluminum locking carabiners in this case, right? I told you guys the benefits about the steel yesterday, right? The main benefit here in using three instead of two is that if your master point is laying on a surface like this and the climbing rope's going through here, right? What happens is that when somebody goes to lower with two carabiners, it'll flip over and pinch, and then so if the climber is on this side and the weight of the climber is here and the belay strand is on this side, it's thrashing your rope.
Yeah.
Right? And if it's a super freaking heavy guy and there's a little extra friction, you might not even be able to lower them because they're trapping it from moving. If it does move, it's going to hammer your rope, right? So with a three-beaner setup, it doesn't want to roll over quite as easy and trap, so it keeps that from happening, right? If this was hanging in the air, it wouldn't make it any better than two. Okay. But so many of the anchors you guys are probably going to do in the beginning of climbing, it's not on overhanging in vertical terrain. It's like the anchor is going to be laying on a slab, right?
Yeah.
So this is a way better setup. It's more versatile. Okay. So if this was our setup right here, and our goal was to get this over the edge, and that didn't quite reach, right? A couple of options you could do is you could extend between here and here with quick draws or slings or something else to make this hang a little bit longer. You with me on that?
Yeah.
So any kind of extension you could think of, right? So that's an option. The cool thing about this quad setup is that it equalizes, like, no matter where you pull on it. So you got to kind of envision that these are not moving. These are stable. They're in the rock. They're not going anywhere. But if I pull all the way over here, it still pulls evenly on both bolts, right? Or if I pull way over to this side, it does the same thing. It still pulls evenly, so you always have equalization on the bolts.
Cool.
Okay. This is by no means the most popular bolt setup, but it's absolutely my favorite. If I get to a situation where this isn't going to make it over the edge, usually I will just change my setup rather than adding slings to it, because that winds up taking more gear.
Yeah.
So